Oakley dokley. I don't really talk a lot about Sailor Moon. I did a character thing before. But anyway, I just got back from Cosmos, so we're gonna spoil everything. Um, I. It's not the first day it's been out. It's been out since last Friday here in Japan. And I went to go see it today just because I had the time to. And oh my god. Just they when everybody thinks of Sailor Moon Crystal and this whole project for the anniversary and to like actually animate the comics as they were in the comics and not, like an original story that they did with the TV series back from 92 to 97. Of course, in the beginning, the animation was just awful, right? We all know the first two seasons of Sailor Moon Crystal are just the animation was terrible, and it looked too much like Pretty Cure, and because the director or producer or somebody is like the main guy in charge of Pretty Cure, and there was a lot of flack. And then when they did the third arc, the Deathbusters arc with the Outers coming in, they fixed up the animation, they made it look better, and then they did Eternal, which was a two-part, movie thing, to cover the Dead Moon arc. And as much as they did it justice to the original source material, they screwed up with the voice actors. I think, personally. Having Watanabe Naomi do Jiru Konya was just stupid. No, she's terrible. She can't act for anything. And I didn't think that using Nanao for what's her face? The I can't remember her name off the top of my head. For the main bad guy of the Dead Moon arc. I didn't like her way of acting the character out. Definitely the TV series having the voice actress who did Hamon from Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta and stuff. She's amazing. But that's comparing like it's comparing, let's say, Sasaki Nozomu to the loser they got to play the fake Hathaway in the fake Hathaway / movie for Gundam. It's just a different level of, there's talent and then there's just trash, right? But this time, like, this is gonna be just like a whole bunch of mess because I just got home from watching this movie, and my thoughts are not all together because of just how good it was. I didn't expect it to be this good because the entire project of Sailor Moon Crystal has been, up and down. Like the first two arcs were and then the Deathbusters arc was really good, and then when they did the Dead Moon arc, they screwed that up a little bit in terms of, the what is it? The voice actors and stuff like that, and I thought that it wasn't done as well as the Deathbusters arc. And then they bring out Cosmos, which is the final arc, which is the Stars arc of the comics. Now, one thing I have to put out is that they've changed basically all the voice actors outside of Sailor Moon and, Chibi Chibi and stuff like that. Because Chibi Chibi is the same voice actor as Sailor Moon, so... But anybody who's read the comics knows all this. So, the comics have been out for decades. If you don't know who Chibi Chibi is at this point, just, go jump off a cliff. I don't know. If you're a Sailor Moon fan and you don't know who Chibi Chibi is, you need to jump off a cliff. But everybody thinks of... So, Hayashi Mugumi, which everybody would know her from... doing Lena Inverse from Slayers and, Christy McKenzie from Gundam 0080. She is basically why most voice actors and voice actresses coming out of the 90s until the present day also release music. Okay? Now, of course, you go back far enough, you go to Macross and you look at those other things. Of course, Iji Mamari was, you know, hired to play the voice of Minmei plus do her singing at the same time. But that wasn't the common thing. Hayashi Mugumi actually is the reason why that's a thing now. And her voice is cutesy because it's kind of a higher pitch. If people watch Slayers and listen to her voice, you'll understand. She's also done Shaman King. I don't know the character. I've never watched Shaman King, so I don't know. But I like Hayashi Mugumi. I think she's a great singer. I think she's, a great voice actress. She's a legend, right? But I thought, with Sailor Galaxia, that is out of all of the bad guys, all of the main baddies in all of Sailor Moon, is probably the most brutal of all of them, okay? And if you think putting her with Sailor Galaxia's voice, at first you think it's weird just hearing that, right? Why is Lena Inverse doing Sailor Galaxia? That's what people think. She was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I cannot stress how good she was, and the way she played the character, and the I mean, because it's Hayashi Mugumi, she's a legend in her own right. It just, she knows what she's doing compared to other young voice actresses and voice actors. She's way above everybody else. But she did so well. Now, with the Starlight's voice actors, or voice actresses, well, for one, they couldn't use the original Starfighter voice actress, even if they wanted to, because she died like a year or two after Sailor Stars finished the TV series. So there was no way they were going to use her. So they were, of course, going to bring a whole bunch of new voice actresses in to portray these characters. At first I thought Seiya's voice, a Sailor Starfighter here, was too deep originally, because I'm used to hearing Star Maker's voice being deeper, right? But after, while I'm watching the movie, I stopped really thinking about it. And it ended up being like, okay, this rendition of Starfighter is actually pretty good. So I'm not gonna. I think they did okay with the voice acting with the Starlights. Also, the voice acting with the animates or whatever they're called. I thought they did good with them. Although we didn't get Heavy Metal Papillon yet, so don't know about that yet. Really, I mean, there's like some little short on YouTube that talks about that has the voice for Heavy Metal Papillon, but in general, I thought the voice they're not in the movie for very long. They basically jump in, they attack, and then they die. It's just like in the comics. They're not there for very long. And there's so many of them as it is. So, of course, they're not going to get a lot of screen time, but the screen time they get was alright. It's faithful to the original source material. I thought, and the whole reason I wanted to watch this movie in the first place is to see Uranus and Neptune's third attacks. Okay? Because they've never been animated. Hell, even back in the day, we were lucky to even get Space Sword Blaster or Submarine Reflection from the original series. And then we got, almost nothing of the Outers and garbage for Saturn in the original one. So, the fact that they really followed the source material from the comics and the Outers got their spotlight was really good. I like the way they animated the new attacks. They're really, really good. Now, I have to say this because this was something that they teased with Eternal. When you watch the promotional material for Sailor Moon Eternal a couple years ago, they were using Moonlight Densetsu for the the TV commercials and all the little videos and teasers and stuff for the movie, and then we didn't get it in the movie at all, right? We got a full intro with Moonlight Densetsu, having all of the characters, including the Starlights, animated in it, and they based all of the animation and the backgrounds and all that off of the Sailor Moon S. They kind of combined the Sailor Moon S and the Supers opening, and they added some things to it. When you see that at the beginning, just, oh my god, it is amazing. Like, I cannot describe. They just, you hear that opening little guitar riff, and you see what's going on. And if you watch a Sailor Moon S opening, or watch the Supers openings from way back in the day, and you kind of mix a couple parts here and there, and then you add the Starlights to it, and you have all of them there, it's just, oh my god. Like, from that moment, I think I was already hooked on it, because I already know, I've got the comics here on my bookshelf. But, just the fact that they finally did it, and they gave us what we've been begging for this entire project. We got Moonlight Densetsu as an opening for the final arc of the comics. I so wanted to like sneak a picture of the of that final scene where they're all on the screen at the same time. I was like, oh my god, I really want to take a picture of this shit. It was so amazing. I couldn't, like, it just, I can't describe how amazing that was. They finally gave us what we wanted for so long. Now, it's sung by the current inner cast. So, of course, Sailor Moon's voice actress, who's been there from the beginning, but then also the current, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus voice actors as well. All 5 of them singing Moonlight Densetsu, having, like, the first few scenes with, like, if you watch a Sailor Moon S opening, and you see, Ami and Minako and Rei and Makoto there, it's exactly the same. They put that as it was, just like back in the day. Just, oh my god. And then they added a couple parts here that were kind of reminiscent of what they did with the opening and Supers. Plus they added, things to include the Starlights and Kakuhime and all this other stuff. Just, oh. And then the final, where all of them are like on the screen at once. They did it perfectly. Just, it's probably the best opening version of Moonlight Densetsu ever made. I like, as much as I love my Sailor Moon S opening, this goes far and beyond what that did. Like, this was a culmination of things they screwed up through this entire project, and they fixed it. And this final arc, the animation is amazing. It actually didn't screw it up. It was absolutely amazing. And, the story, of course, they ended it right before, so they broke it, the last part of it is right before the ending credits is when they, when Sailor Moon decides she's going to go to it is a zero star, and go to fight Galaxia. So it ends on that scene, which is just the perfect timing to cut off, because I believe, if I recall correctly, that is the same timing of where they cut it off in the comics. In my version of it, which I have the Kanzenban for the Japanese version, I believe that's the same place they cut it off for in that, like, reissue of the comics. And so they cut it right at the perfect place to leave the cliffhanger for the rest of it. At the end, after the credits, they of course give you the trailer for the next part, which is coming out the end of the month. And, you know, they already have the trailer for it on YouTube, so you can look it up. But just, oh my god. Like, I don't need to go into the story because, you know, if you don't know the Stars arc of the story, go read the comics and you'll understand why it's the darkest thing. Now, something that got me is that the Stars arc of the comics is the darkest of them all. Like, the first arc, the Dark Kingdom arc, is incredibly dark as well in the original version. But the Stars arc is even darker. And because Galaxia just doesn't care and wants to, like, murder everybody. So, you know, it's indiscriminate basically indiscriminate murder of, you know, all the characters. But they there was a woman who brought her really young daughter to go see it, because, you know, Sailor Moon is for little girls, whatever. And of course I was the only guy there, everybody else is female there. So just pointing that out. I went to an early showing, so that's probably why. But because there are guys who do like Sailor Moon in Japan too. But this was, like, I saw that little girl there, and I'm like, do you realize how dark this arc is? Like, in my mind, I was just like, I wanted to go up to that woman and tell her, like, do you understand how dark this is? This is not really for a little girl. Like a 3-4-year-old little girl, right? It just isn't. It's traumatic, like the things that happen in this movie. And in this arc specifically, if you read the comics and you read the Stars arc, you'll understand why this is just, it is incredibly dark, and it gets darker in part 2 before it ends on a happy note, right? So of course there's a happy ending to it, but the rest of it is just, holy god. So I saw that, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I worry about that little girl having nightmares tonight of Galaxia, like, killing, like, the inners. It's just, oh my god. It's, you know, that kind of got to me a little bit, because I'm just like, why would you bring a little girl to something so dark? Unless you've never read the comics and you watch the old TV show way back in the day and you don't understand how dark the original comics are. But, you know. But I wanted to talk about this because it's just, like, because I don't need to talk about the story. The story's not really that, you know, important, because you can just read it in the comics and you'll understand everything. Because they've been around for decades now, and you can just pick them up and read the original comics, and it's not really anything we don't know, which is why I already knew the story, which it wasn't like there's nothing shocking to me or anything, because I've read the Stars arc a couple times through, and every time, and the times I've read it, just like, okay, yeah, this is dark. But I absolutely cannot wait for the second part. I like this movie. Oh my god. Like, it, like, you can tell I'm not able to express my thoughts on it, because it's just so good. They did it right. This is something, like, when they did the Deathbusters arc, when they did Crystal Season 3, basically, like, this was what we wanted. We didn't get that with Eternal necessarily. We got the source material, but we got bad acting out of it. Out, like, for, you know, the baddies, right? So, basically, we're getting exactly what we wanted to finish the story off. They really went out of their way to do this correctly. They better not screw up the second part, but considering how good the first part was, I think we're okay. I think we'll be just fine. So, for anybody who's actually in Japan, you need to go see it. Even if you don't understand Japanese, just go see it. Go, 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 go. It's amazing. Like, even if you just, watch the opening and you're completely entrenched by the opening and just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, that's good enough, okay? I cannot stress how good this is. It is absolutely amazing. So, like, I don't go to the movies often. The last movie I went to see was Macross Delta. I don't go to the movies. You have to really get me to be interested in something to get me to go. And I only went because I wanted, like, my original thought was, I just wanted to go see the Outer Third Attacks. That's it. Other than that, forget it. I'm cool. I am so glad I went. So, that, I just need to get that off my head, get that out. Wanted to talk about it. This movie is amazing. And yes, I'm spoiling, like, the intro part of it, because that's the only thing that's really, like, I think people outside Japan who have watched the Crystal project going up to Eternal, we're probably complaining about the same thing. Was, where is Moonlight Densetsu? Where is Moonlight Densetsu? We want Moonlight Densetsu. And we get it. And I think that's the most important thing, is we get what we've been begging for forever. And the animation quality is superb. They fixed things up. It's great. If you have the chance to go. You must. It's amazing. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because it's amazing. And yeah, I'm just using the official website. I do have U-Matrix on here, so I do block a lot of stuff. But, yeah, I went, and it's amazing. And this movie poster just, I'm debating whether to go buy the movie pamphlet or not. It's a little pricey, but I might get it. I did it with Macross Delta. I should do it for Sailor Moon too. Just because it's gonna, as time goes along, these things get more expensive. So, I kind of want one just to have it, because it's gonna have like interviews with people and stuff, and it's gonna have some cool stuff in there, some cool like artwork and like showing off stuff, whatever. So I needed to talk about this because I just got home, and it's like I couldn't keep my mind. My mind is completely unclear right now. It's like a big fog after watching it. I probably need to see it one more time. But anyway, just wanted to bring that to everybody, talk about it, because basically everybody who talks about Sailor Moon in the English-speaking world doesn't understand Japanese, isn't in Japan, can't go see it. I can. I understand Japanese. Everybody's seen my videos. You can go through my playlists and stuff and upload videos, and you'll see my Japanese is fine. This was absolutely amazing. If you have the opportunity, you need to watch it. Must watch it. They gave us what we wanted. So, anyway, that's all for this video.